Hey, what's up? So I kind of want to try and make a quick video before I pack all the stuff up because I will be leaving here in a few days to go back to Utah. But just wanted to give you guys an update of where I'm at with the engine and why it's not together and in the car, why I'm not driving back to Utah with it. So that's the most disappointing part. And the only reason is because I haven't gotten my rotors or my counterweights back yet. So yeah, kind of a important part to go in a rotary engine. So yeah, can't build it without it. Anyway, I'm gonna work my way from the left over, and I don't mind the mess over there on my bed. I'm just organizing and getting all that stuff together to pack it up. But yeah, so intake manifold, primaries are ported. The Racing Beat ones come with the short ports on them. They don't come set up for the tall port irons. So I ported those out. I think I talked about that before, and of course all the wrinkle black paint stuff. Nothing really new with the oil pan, just same old oil pan that came out of the engine. This also came out of the engine. It is a baffle plate for the oil, just a baffle. You can get them off Racing Beat's website. I have two of these. Came out of two different engines. So might be selling the other one or giving one of them to my friend or something. I don't know yet. Let's see, on this front cover, let's see, the only real thing I'm doing different to it is I completely removed the oil metering pump stuff. So there's absolutely nothing there anymore, just a hole that goes all the way through. What I'm going to do with that is tap threads into it and yeah, just completely block it off. Because I don't run an OMP on my RX7 at all. I just run 100% premix, and it does just fine that way. So just a little tiny bit of less stress on the engine. One less thing for the little sprocket in front to turn. Let's see, this oil pump, this is the one that came out of the engine. And I didn't know this about these oil pumps, but I guess this is the best possible one for the older engines. So let's see, newer engines, and I'll use this Renesis one as an example, are huge. You compare it to these, they're absolutely huge. So anything beyond 1985 is no option for the older engines. But what I didn't know is that old school 70s R5 engines all came with the competition oil pumps. And what that means is this little rotor right here is 17.5 millimeters, which is the largest one. So it's considered a competition one, which you can buy, I think, from Pineapple Racing and Racing Beat. Or actually, that might be a lie. I don't know if Racing Beat sells them anymore or not. But yeah, some people think that these only come in the GSL SEs, but they come in all R5 engines, and I think the R-plated ones too. There's two different types of R plates. So R5 like this, and then R. I don't know all the details of the R plates, but the R5 ones are the older nitrided ones, or the first nitrided ones. Next up, we'll go on to stationary gears. So nothing really different about these other than they both have brand new bearings, except for the rear one, which I sent off to a friend back in Utah and had this O-ring groove milled into it. So on the Renesis, the O-ring groove is in the iron in this area, and in the older stationary gears are in the stationary gears. Yeah, that's right. I think in the 13B RE and some of the newer Series 7 or Series 8 REWs, I think they're the same way as the Renesis. It's in the iron, but don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure on that. But all Renesis engines use them in the irons. So because I'm using Renesis stationary gears, I had to have it modified so I can run a O-ring there. I was told that I could get away with just using RTV silicone, like a black silicone or orange silicone, red. Yeah, it's labeled red, but it's orange. But that just seems too sketchy, so I just sent this out and had that done anyway. I have not ported this little oil port yet. You need to port that down, I think 5 millimeters or something. You have to go back and double check. I'll post some links to some info about these in the description so you can read it for yourself. But I believe it's 5mm that I need to port down. Let's see, used Renesas E-shaft. It's in pretty decent shape. The only thing I'm going to do to this is polish the lobes, and yeah, nothing really needs to be changed on that. And the only advantage of this versus something like a REW E-shaft, it's the only one I know anything about other than the Renesas, is that it's lighter by 0.4 pounds, almost half a pound lighter. That's the only advantage of it. The disadvantage of these is that you can't go above 9,400 RPM or you risk flexing the E-shaft. That was found out by Star Mazda race cars, and yeah, after 9,400 RPM they had flexing issues and they were no good after that. But they're light and I don't have any intentions of going over 9,000, so yeah, this is perfect for me. Let's see, the front pulley from Racing Beat. This came off the engine, so I didn't have to buy it, which is good. And the advantage of these is they have these little timing marks. I believe this one's top dead center, and let's see, I forget which way is which. I forgot pretty much everything about this other than it's really good to have. But you should be seeing a screenshot on the screen right now of you know, where all the timing marks are and what they are. Let's see, I decided to go back to a regular stock oil filter pedestal. This one's off a 74 to 75 Repu engine. I just kind of like how it looks better than the other ones, which are short as shit. If I want to tap a 1/8 MPT threads into it for my oil temperature sensor, then I have a lot of room to do that. Whereas the other ones I had like that much room to do it. But yeah, I just like how this one looks a little bit better, just more material. So I'm gonna use that. See, this one also came off the engine. I want to say this one came with the engine out of the RX7 it was pulled out of. So 13B front engine mount. Nothing really to say more about that. Irons ported. You saw my video on that. If you didn't, then go back through my videos and watch that. All ported using this custom Killer Bee porting template by Built to Apex. Nader Sharif, he, and here's kind of a mess too. I sent this iron off and had this matched. He matched this template out to it. And that's what I used to port the irons. See, the housings, these were my Plan B housings. I decided not to use them because I kind of fucked up porting, match porting. The reason I did that is because I was using the correct type of bit, but it was too thin. And you should be seeing a time lapse right now of some of the issues I was having. So as I was porting through here, it would get stuck and then just port its own way, and I don't know, I couldn't keep control of it and I ended up over porting it. And yeah, at this point I'd have to finish porting this and then port match this housing, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, the guy that I sold my my original housings to ended up not needing them. He found a better condition set of GSLSC housings, so I bought these back for the same price I sold them to him for. Had these sent out to Rotary Resurrection, and they are now resurfaced and perfect. Well, they're not perfect. They still have some flaking on the edges and stuff, but yeah, they're completely smooth. And I'd say $100 for this result is very much a bang for the buck, or the best bang for the buck. And even better, original Killer Bee ports. So this can be a true Killer Bee engine with Renesas stuff in it. So yeah, original plan put back in the action, or into action. Let's see, same Racing Beat header that came off the engine out of the car that I bought it with. And only thing different I did with this was you know, just take some people's advice on how to heat wrap this. Now I'm not going to be keeping this header forever, which is why I decided to heat wrap it. Let's see, my original reasoning for this was I do have a heat shield that goes over the headers right here on the engine, but I forgot to bring it down with me, so my plan B for that was heat wrap. Now I do know all the disadvantages of it. It rots the metal, and then eventually just, you know, rust a hole through it or something like that, and you have to replace it. But I want to say a year or so after I build this engine, get it running in the car, I'm just gonna get a brand new one and probably have it ceramic coated or something. I don't know yet, but yeah, figure out when I get to that point. Let's see, 8.8 pound. What is this? Clutches and flywheels. I think it's like American clutches or something like that. I don't know what exact flywheel this is. It's an 8.8 pound aluminum flywheel. This is replacing my stock 29 pound flywheel. I believe that's the heaviest one that Mazda ever put in a rotary car. But yeah, that's a lot of weight savings off the rotating assembly. And I think after I calculated it all out, I'm taking about 20-ish, 22 pounds off the rotating assembly. Each Cosmo rotor, which was 9.2 to 1 compression and 11.58 pounds, going to 9.3 pound rotors, the Renesis rotors, and they're also 10.0 to 1 compression. And then subtract the weight from that versus the Cosmo E-shaft. I think it all calculates out to 22 or so pounds. Then brand new stock XD clutch kit. And of course my rebuild kit. That's a, let's see, first thing you'll see in here is a metal Renesis front cover gasket. Now the reason I'm going with this is because the thing that killed this engine was a loss of oil pressure. And the thing that made it lose oil pressure was the front cover O-ring. If you look right here, you'll see a little lighter aluminum colored ring thing. And what that is the same friend that I sent to have this, brain fart, what is this? Stationary gear. Same friend that I had this sent to machine that. He also made me this little insert. Now the reason for that is because the Renesis doesn't use a rubber or nylon O-ring for the front cover to hold oil pressure. Instead it's just flat, and it instead uses this little thing right here. And the Renesis front cover gasket is capable of holding, I think, up to 130 something PSI for oil pressure. And that's absolutely perfect because I also got a replacement one of these. Now these also come stock in the older 70s rotary engines. I don't know about the GSLSC, but this is a race oil pressure regulator, but it's really just a stock one, or a used stock one. Got this from Atkins Rotary, by the way. Hit them up if you're looking for one of these, because it was definitely a very huge bang for the buck for those of you looking. Anyway, I'm modifying this to get up to 95 to 100 plus oil pressure. And there's more information in the link in the description below, just regarding oil pressure and stuff like that, using these. So if you want to look at that, then, you know, by all means go and do that. Let's see what else. Oh, yes. So I did show that I got a Elite Rotary 10mm stud kit. Now there's no real strength advantage from these, just a torque advantage. It's the only real advantage you get from these. But I also ordered another thing from them. One piece solid dowel pins, and I'm not doing a dry sump setup, so I got their more expensive setup. So I think it's like 55 or 60 bucks, and you get two of these guys if you're going dry sump. But if you pay, I think, what is it, 120 bucks, then you get one that's drilled all the way through. And yeah, this will definitely add strength to the engine, keep it from flexing or twisting. But then again, I don't actually need it. I'm actually really overbuilding the shit out of this engine because I'm not going to be making more than, I want to say 175 to 180 wheel horsepower with this engine. So these are absolutely not needed. There's no reason that I needed to buy these. I could have just been perfectly fine with stock because, well, they're perfectly good for that. But I wanted to do this engine right the first time, and yeah. I did go over everything that's in the rebuild kit, just pretty much all stock OEM stuff. OEM apex sills, OEM corner sills, OEM Renesis side sills. And then I will cut those, like, what is it, 0.002 thousandths or something like that. I'll go over more details when I actually start building the engine. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. Yeah, leaving here in a few days, so I'm gonna go ahead and pack all this shit up, get in that box over there, and get in the back of the truck that's taking it back to Utah. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video or you have any suggestions on how I can improve, feel free to leave constructive criticism in the comments below. Other than that, subscribe, like, and follow me on Instagram, which is @6tally0, or on Facebook, which is just my name, just like my YouTube channel. Yeah, see ya.